Welcome back to another YouTube video. So on a number of recent videos, people have been asking me to do different styles of fishing. So where a lot of my videos tend to be based around catching carp or catching skimmers, I've been asked to do a few different, can I catch other species or other types of fish such as tench? Can I start catching rudd and roach and that type of thing? So on today's video, I've decided to come out and spend 1 hour catching as many rudd as I possibly can. So the reason being that when you go in a match, or if you just go pleasure fishing, you normally find that first hour you don't really catch much. You're priming your lines, you're going after the carp, and if you're on a heavily stocked commercial, that's fine, you'll probably catch carp from the go. But a lot of us, we tend to go in club waters or just more natural venues if we're going pleasure fishing, and carp don't always feed straight away. They might feed in the last couple of hours, or you might get them, certainly after the first hour, but not always in that first hour. So there's plenty of fish in front of us, but we just ignore them. So today's session is all about seeing how many fish we can catch in that first hour. And what I'm going to do is fish what most people would normally do, is fish a whip. I don't have a whip, I don't carry a whip, and you can go and get them from your local tackle shops. They don't cost much, you can get rigs as well set up perfectly for the job. But what I do is use my top kit. Top kits are what, roughly 9 feet long, and as long as you set it up properly, you can get it out there, get the float out there, and you can still be catching those smaller fish. So in terms of my setup, top kit, I've got a 9 hollow elastic. The reason why I've gone for that is because, one, I could hit some carp. Potentially they might come in the swim and I want to still be able to get them out. But two, the 9 hollow elastic, I find it's still strong enough to be able to tighten it up if I need to, and I can still swing those smaller roach and those smaller rudd in for speed. But if I also, if I catch a bigger fish, I've got the elastic, it'll do the job. A lot of people, when they fish a whip, they don't use elastic. Or some do, and it's quite a light elastic, but because I don't carry a whip, I go for a 9 hollow. In terms of main line, I've got a 0.16 main line down to 0.11 diameter hook length with a size 18 hook on. In terms of the float, I've got a 4x14 Chianti. The reason why I've got a 4x14 is because it's heavy enough for me to flick it out there and get it out at the distance I want. Directly underneath that, I've got 4 number 8s. Then I've got a number 9 and 2 number 10 droppers down towards the hook. So I've plumbed up at 3.5 foot. I am plumbed up, so I'm fishing on the bottom. If I don't catch a fish through the water and it hits my hook length hits the bottom and there's some fish sitting there, at least I'm going to catch them. As I start to catch them through the water, I will shallow up to the depth they're at. So that's it, that's the plan. First hour, let's see how many fish I can catch in 1 hour, which is what I would do if I was in a match. So I'm going to finish getting set up and we're back in a little while, hopefully catching some rudd. Right, okay, so we just got set up. So I've got my counter set to 0. Every time I catch a fish, I'm going to press the button and hopefully we're going to catch plenty of fish, and we'll see how many we've caught in 1 hour's time. So let's just check my watch. Okay, 52 there. Right then, so let's get started. I'm going to throw in, that way under straight away, throw in some maggots. I'm throwing the maggots in where my hook is pretty much settling, or between where my hook and my float is. So what I don't want to be doing is throwing the bait too short. I want it to get a little bit past where my float is. There we go, there's one. Press the counter, swap the maggot. So the plan is to try and catch 3 or 4 a minute. There we go, there's 2. Yeah, it's just come off. That's the trouble, sometimes they just come off and they'll drop down next to you. So this is what happened then. I didn't press the counter then, did I? So 2. And if I haven't had a bite by the time it hits the bottom, I will, especially now I know they're shallow. Try again. So there we go. Now that's what we're after. Nice rudd. Probably what, 2-3 ounces, certainly now about 3 ounces. If you start catching those 3 ounce rudd, 2 or 3 a minute, it's not going to take long for us to build up a good weight. So maggots in, just throw them past where the float is. That one's come off again. There we go, number 4. Put it in and we get one right in front of us, number 5. So this can be really, really fast. It can make it a really busy session. But that is the plan. We do ignore it. Throw some maggots in, there we go. Another one. So I'm not sure. So that's number 6. If I actually press the count on the last one, and this is the trouble, you can easily, I just cannot keep count. It's that simple. I just forget. After I got to 10, I've lost how many I've caught, or forgotten how many I've caught. So some people are very good at keeping count. So that's now dropped through the layers. There we go. Ah, a little tench. So you can catch anything. Catch rudd, roach, tench. You could probably even be getting skimmers depending on the venue where you are. And at some point the carp will probably come in as well, and that's when you got to decide whether you change rigs. But so we're on 8 now. Throw some more maggots in. I'm not throwing in loads now because I know there's plenty in the swim, so I just threw in then, cut it down to about 6 or 7 maggots. Oh, I missed that one, that was a straight under. So I'm not going to overfeed. I want them to compete, but at the same time I do want plenty in the swim. It took a little bit longer, that one. That's quite a tiny one, but it's a fish. It's 9. I'm going to keep the maggot on. You can keep the maggot on for quite a long time. You can probably catch 5 or 6 fish on one maggot, because when there's so many in the swim, they're just not bothered. They're not looking for perfection. They're just darting in and out, and they're taking the bait. So get some more maggots in. There we go. Another one. God, I must remember to press my counter. So I didn't do it on the last one. So we're on 11 now. And how long have we been fishing? Where's my watch? 5 minutes. So fishing 5 minutes, caught 11 fish. Some of these are tiny, really, really tiny. But as you can see earlier, we do catch a decent rudd. And they're the ones we want to keep getting going. Now, I've only brought maggots today. I'd probably swap to casters. You'd probably draw in the bigger fish, but I haven't. Just got some old maggots. I want to use them up. So you got to give this a go. Next time you're on your next club water match or you go pleasure fishing, just spend the first hour doing this. And you'll be surprised that you soon build up a weight. So I have got, what's that, 14 now. So there we go, there's another one, getting a little bit bigger again. So it keeps changing. So keep the maggot on, just get another. Oh, that was a better fish. That was a better fish that I lost then. So another maggot on the hook. Throwing some maggots. There we go, just throw them in past where your float lands, halfway between where your float is and your hook, and then your hook will basically go down at the same speed as the bait you're throwing in. I missed 2 bites there. Oh, some decent fish. There's some good rudd out there now. That's 2 good ones I've lost. They're just a little bit further out, those better ones, interestingly. If I stretch out, when I flick it out, and just stretch my arm out and go an extra foot, that's when I seem to get those slightly better ones. This is where different size whips do come in handy. Like I say, using a top kit isn't ideal, but it's the alternative of carrying yet another piece of kit. There we go. Another tench. Interestingly, I've caught 2 little baby tench now when the hook hits the deck, when I haven't had a bite through the water. The tench are on the bottom. It's only tiny tench, but it goes to show that you can catch anything. Oh. There we go. I think the key is not to strike too much quick, which is what I was doing. Just let that elastic do what it needs to do. I mean, it's not really coming out much. It's but on those bigger ones, if you strike too quick, it just sort of pulling the hook out. So again, get some maggots out. So we're on 19 now, 19 fish, and we are 6 minutes, no sorry, 9 minutes in, and we caught 19 fish. And we've missed quite a few as well, bumped a few. There you go, that's 20. Swap that maggot over, that's been used big time, that maggot. Probably caught about 5-6 fish on that one. Get some maggots in, there we go, missed a bite. You're going to miss lots of bites. There we go, nice rudd. I swallowed that one. I mean, it's a little bit of a race really, to see how many you can catch. So the last thing you want is to be swallowing that hook, because it just takes time getting it out. Okay, single maggot on the hook, flick it out, put some maggots in, and there we go, another rudd. So what we're on now, we're on 25 fish, and we are 15 minutes in. So not bad. So I'm going to carry on doing this, and we'll be back in a little while and see how many we've got. Okay, so we're now into a carp. Wasn't expecting, well, there's always the chance they've come in, but like I said right at the beginning, I'm only fishing a top kit, just 9 foot, therefore I've got 9 foot of line to also deal with. So the 9 elastic though This is why I put it on, and the trouble is it wants to go and find a snag, and this is going to be the challenge, getting it out. But let's see if we can. I might have to take my time with this one. I think I might be playing this for a little while. If I'd have been fishing a whip, I definitely would have been smashed up by now. But using this 9 elastic is just helping when you're in a venue and you know there's carp that can just swoop in as well. Let's get his head up, see if we can get him out. There we go, got him. Let's see if we can hold him up. There we go. So even when you're fishing for rudd and roach, you can still get the odd carp. I'm going to put him back in, not put him in the net. There we go. So he doesn't count, unfortunately, but it goes to show that even when you're fishing for these rudd, the style of fishing, throwing maggots in, the carp will just come in as well. So just got to be prepared for them. If you're fishing light gear, you're probably going to get your line broke, but with the gear I'm fishing, it meant that I can also get them out. A little bit of a challenge because a lot of snags around me, but it worked. So let's carry on. Some maggots in, that's holding it up. Now that was a fish on, came off then. Some maggots in, another fish on. There we go. So we're now on 60. Check the clock. So 36 minutes we've been fishing, and we caught 60 fish. Get some maggots in. Oh, that's a nicer one. There you go, nice roach. 3 ounces going on, how many going on 4? Yeah, that's probably more 3 ounces. Certainly wouldn't have swung a 4 ounce roach in. That might have been a challenge too far. So flick that over your head as far as you can, get some maggots in. What you find is when you're fishing this style of technique, the rudd and the roach, after a period of time, they will move out, and that's where a snag. Thought I had a carp on then. There's a snag just under there. First time I've hit that. So as I was saying, as you find when you're doing this technique, as the day goes on, the roach and the rudd do move out and they start to push out a little bit further, and that's where having different lengths of whips come in handy. So because you do have to chase them out sometimes. But at the moment, this is working. If I was in a match, I would do this in the first hour before I start going for the carp or the skimmers. I'll be priming the carp line or a skimmer line. And this is a technique you can use to great effect. Build a weight up, probably get 5 pound of fish in your net before you start going after the carp or whatever type of fish you've come to catch. Okay, so there we go, that's what we've come for today. Nice roach, catching them shallow, fishing 2.5 feet, sized off at 3.5 foot deep, and we're flicking the rig as far as we can, keeping that tight line, throwing some maggots in over the top, and getting literally a fish a throw. So I have been slowed down a little bit by some fish swallowing the hook, so I'm having to use this scourger, but I could probably have certainly have caught more fish if I could have hooked them. I've bumped a few, dropped a few off as they swung them in, but it's literally been a fish a throw. So as I say, you can't ignore these fish, they're literally under your feet, right in front of you. Okay, so I'm now on 87 and I've got 8 minutes to go before my hour is up. Okay, so we've got literally 2 minutes left to go. I'm on 98 fish. There we go, that's only a small fish that, but I'm having that one. 99. Okay, so we've now got probably 1 minute left of my 1 hour and I'm on 99. So a bit of a race now. Can I get 100? Can I do it? Oh, carp just come in. I think my swim slowed down early and I think that was the reason why. There we go, that is 100. I'm going to go one more for the road, see if we can catch one more. I'm going to swap that maggot. I've probably got 30 seconds left. So yeah, as I say, I think I've had carp coming in and out of my swim. It's going to happen. Flick that as far as I can. Maggots in over the top. Wait for that hook float to go under. There's a hook, goes through the layers. If you haven't had a bite straight away, cast back in. Can I do it? There we go. 101. Brilliant. Now that is how you catch 101 fish in an hour at the start of your match or at the start of your pleasure fishing session. So I'm going to get these out. I'm going to show you guys what I've caught. So there we go. Not sure if you can see that, but we've got loads of rudd, loads of roach. Let's get them back in the water. Well, there you go guys, that's the end of today's session. So I've had an hour, I've caught 101 fish. I set myself a target a little bit after I started to catch over 100 fish if I could within an hour. But today's session was all about coming and catching roach and catching rudd, something a little bit different. As I said right at the beginning, sometimes you come into a match, that first hour, or even when you pleasure fishing the first hour, you're not catching much. You can sit there priming your carp lines, priming your skimmer lines, but don't forget the fish that are directly in front of you, the roach and the rudd. So in that first hour, I've caught roughly 3.5 pounds of fish, thereabouts. It wasn't a bad session. I mean, I could just carry on now and keep catching them, but I set myself a goal, 1 hour, I've caught 101 fish. So guys, if you've liked this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button so you get reminded next time I upload a video. Also, leave a comment, it always helps. Tell me what you'd like to see next, any techniques, any particular thing you'd like me to do a video on. So, as I say, leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, tight lines.